Welcome to Everything Football and welcome to the Match Day 4 Wildcard Draft video. So in this one, as always, we will be going through the best wildcard team for this match day, planning for match day 5 and 6 as well. So there's a lot that will come into this. I'm actually going to combine this with a different video that I'll be posting like 5 hours after this, talking about the fixtures and the fixtures we should be looking out for and which teams have which fixtures between now and match day 6, because the home and away fixtures, there are some other teams that have played a couple of home games. Other teams have played a couple of away games that will matter as well in terms of what we will do with our wildcard. Another thing that will matter is, have you already played your limitless? If you've already played your limitless, that means if you play wildcard right now, you don't have any other chips to turn to between now and match day 6. So you have to be a bit careful with how much money you have in the bank, which players are getting in, how many differentials you're getting in, all that. But if you still have your limitless chip, then you have space to maneuver and a bit of time to do it as well, because you will have an extra chip basically. So you have the wildcard basically is for 2 weeks, match day 4 and 5 or match day 4 and 6, depending on how you plan. But I'll go into detail with that in the fixture video. Again, if you've already played your wildcard and you're planning to play your limitless, there's already a video for that. The link will be in the description, and I'll also link it up at the end of this video. So which player should you be getting in on a wildcard for match day 4? Let's do this. So I've taken all those things into account, which teams have away fixtures, which teams have home fixtures, which teams have the easiest fixtures, and all that defensively, attacking wise. And yeah, again, last point, you don't have to go exactly this team. I'm sure you won't even agree with every single player. There's some teams that have missed out that probably should be here, and you may prefer their players. Like, it doesn't have to be correct. It's usually 50-50 most of the times. Like, for example, last time out, I did say I didn't trust Liverpool defense against Rangers. Trent scored a goal and kept a clean sheet. But on the other side, I also talked about Di Lorenzo and Jota. They both scored for their teams. So it just depends. You will be right sometimes, you will be wrong sometimes. So it's your team. You're the manager of your team, so you decide, and you watch football as well, so you decide which players you want to get in. So let's start with Hugo Larisse. Larisse is the first goalkeeper I'll have in the team. He's one of those players that have back-to-back home fixtures in match day 4 and 5. Again, I will go into detail for that one in the next video. So I have Hugo Larisse here at 5.5 million. You don't really have to go for him. I just go for him because he's as the safest option who's going to start. And also those teams that he's playing against, I would expect them to have a couple of shots, so he has the chance of getting a couple of save points. You could also go for any of their defenders if you prefer, but Hugo Larisse is the first option I've gone for Tottenham. I think we covered their fixtures. We covered their fixtures very well. With having a Tottenham player there. You can also go for Tottenham attacker if you prefer. It's going to be a bit hard because of the kind of budget. The likes of Son and Richarlison are quite expensive. You'll have to downgrade elsewhere. So the first option is Hugo Larisse. Next up, I've gone for Man City defender, or Man City defenders. So let's go to Man City up against Copenhagen in the match day 4, the first game of the week. So luckily we get to see their team news. So if you're around like 2 hours before the match day deadline, you can get to see the Man City team news and see which players start and which players don't, so that you can make that sub. So I would wait to make my subs later, but if you're playing a wildcard, you don't have to worry about that. You can make them next Tuesday, or from now next Tuesday, and still change them next Tuesday. But if you just have 2 transfers, you have to be careful. So Sergio Gomez is there. I wanted to get him in before match day 3 because I knew he was definitely going to start because of the injuries, and he's played well at left back whenever he's debutized. But the problem is I wanted 2 Man City attackers, and to get Haaland and Alvarez, that meant I couldn't get Gomez because I already had Cancelo, and Cancelo is one of those players who will always be in my team. So Sergio Gomez at left back, 4.1 million. Next up, Copenhagen, very, very good fixture for them. They will still have to play Sevilla as well at home. Very good fixture. So Sergio Gomez, I would expect him to start at least 2 of those games, which would be great. Even if he doesn't start one of them, it's fine as long as you have people coming from the bench. So Sergio Gomez plays for me there, and as I say, Joao Cancelo has to be there. Joao Cancelo, even if they don't keep a clean sheet, he'll get you 5 points minimum. Like in match day 1 against Sevilla in the 4-0 win, he got 2 assists and 9 ball recoveries, getting him an extra 3 points and a clean sheet as well. In match day 2, they didn't keep a clean sheet, but he got an assist, and 5 balls recovered could have been 6. If he got 1 more ball recovery, could have been an extra 2 points. And in match day 3, they didn't keep a clean sheet. They did keep a clean sheet, but he was subbed off early, but he got an assist anyway and 4 ball recoveries. So basically, up to now, Cancelo has got an assist in every single match day. He is a defender, by the way. It's crazy. 4 assists so far for him, a clean sheet, 18 ball recoveries. That is why Cancelo has to be in your team. I say that since match day 1, and I'm not going to argue that he's one of those players who are going to be there until Man City get eliminated from this competition. It doesn't really depend on clean sheets. He's a very, very good player going forward, and ball recoveries as well. Next up, let's go to Bayern Munich to finish to talk about a Bayern Munich defender, sorry. On a wild card, I think you have to go for the cheaper options, the ones who are going to play. And I love the idea of Upamecano, Bayern Munich scoring 5 goals and Upamecano getting subbed off in the 65th minute. Definitely not the one for Alphonso Davies getting subbed off like at halftime. That one hurt a lot of people, including myself. I mean, I did have a couple of players on the bench like Guerrero, so he took out Davies for Guerrero, so he didn't hurt at the end. But obviously on that day, it was almost a guaranteed clean sheet, so seeing him going off was a bit of a bummer. So Upamecano there at 5 million up against Victoria Pilsen, quite a good fixture. Next up, it doesn't get easier. They will be facing Inter Milan and Barcelona, but for this match day 4 fixture, we have to definitely target it. Later on in the group stage, maybe match day 5 or 6, you might decide to take him out, especially if you don't have a limitless. You could decide to take him out to just leave him on the bench. Or if he plays on the first day, if he doesn't return, you can just take him out, sub him out. So no problem with that. We know why we are going for Upamecano. He's playing against Victoria Pilsen. Another player who's playing against Victoria Pilsen that I'll talk about right now is Leroy Sané. Another player just like Joao Cancelo. These are going to be the highest scoring players in the Champions League alongside the likes of Haaland. So very good option. Now, he won't get subbed off every day. That's the good thing. He got 14 points in match day 1. He got another 9 points in match day 2. That was against Inter Milan and Barcelona. And despite being subbed off 32 minutes before time, he still got 12 points. More than the likes of Haaland. So for the guys who changed captains from Sané to Haaland, perfect. It didn't work out perfect for you. It you lost on 6 points, lost out on 6 points there. So for someone like Leroy Sané, he's very, very explosive, as I always say. Like, he's going to always score, assist, or just get you points every single game, basically. And against Pilsen away from home, I'm sure they will try to win that. They won't really rest a lot of players. They'll try to win that. So by the time they face Barcelona and Inter Milan, it's almost job done for them. There is a chance in the last 2 match days, he might not start one of them, but I think he has to be in your team. 12 points in match day. 3, good for me. I have no problem with that. And then let's just finish the Bayern Munich players. We might as well. So let's go for Musiala at 7 million. I know he got subbed off, but as I said, they won't get subbed off every single day, and it's a very cheap option getting into the Bayern Munich midfield, and it's going to cost you only 7 million. That is a 9 million, 10 million, and all that. If you're playing a limitless, I already did that video. You can go for someone like a Mane, but if you're playing a wildcard and you're targeting match day 4 to 6, Musiala is a good option there. So that is the complete set of Bayern Munich players. So let's complete the Man City players. Literally, it could be anyone, but just to be on the safer side, you have to go for the one who's going to score the goals, and that is Erling Haaland. I've thought about De Bruyne, maybe not going for a Sergio Gomez at the back and having De Bruyne in midfield and also Haaland up front, but that takes a lot of money from your team because Sergio Gomez is only 4.1 million. He is an enabler, and you go for someone like Gomez at 4.1 million, a Man City defender who is playing at 4 million, he allows you to have other players knowing that you have a Man City defender. It's a very, very good feeling. So Erling Haaland up front. I have a feeling he might not start every one of these games remaining. He probably will start away to Dortmund. But the last game, if they've already gone through against Sevilla, he might not start starting that one. So if you're playing a limitless, you don't have to worry about that one. But if you're not playing a limit, if you've already played a limitless and you're playing your wildcard right now, that is something to take into consideration in terms of saving transfers and all of that. So match day 4, Haaland starts once again for us in the team. Remember, we get to City's team, so if he doesn't start against Copenhagen, you can go for a different option if you prefer, but at least have money somewhere to get Haaland back in match day 5, or you will have 2 transfers anyway to try and get Haaland back in for that Dortmund game. The next option I have gone for, let's complete the goalkeepers. I've gone for Livakovic. So let me just type it in here. Livakovic of Dinamo Zagreb against Salzburg. Now, he's one of those players who have 2 home fixtures. The last time they played at home was against Chelsea. They won that game against Chelsea, and then they went back-to-back away games against Milan and Salzburg. So next up, they have back-to-back home games against Salzburg and AC Milan. They might not keep a clean sheet, but the likes of AC Milan will take a lot of shots, and you can have a couple of save points there. So I've gone for him on a different day as Larisse, but these are not the only options you can go for. Larisse plays on the second day. Livakovic plays on the first day. You might prefer the Salzburg goalkeeper instead of the Dinamo Zagreb goalkeeper. I think the FC Porto goalkeeper as well is a good option from match day 4. Not bad at all. So any of those guys. And if you prefer as well the expensive goalkeepers, the premium goalkeepers like Alisson, Ederson, literally up to you. But you're trying to save cash here for a lot of players in our team. So Livakovic completes our goalkeeping lineup. The next player I have gone for in midfield is from Napoli. Very, very good team this season. They are scoring a bunch of goals. I had Kvaratskhelia since match day 1. I took him out in match day 3. Definitely hurt me. Got like 10 points in that match day. But as I always say, Napoli Ajax is going to be a high scoring fixture. Like even now, the remaining games in that group, I'm expecting all of them to be high scoring. Rangers against Liverpool, I can see at least 4 goals. Rangers against Ajax, I can see another 4 goals in that game. Napoli Ajax could be another 5 or 6 goals. Like all of those games will be high scoring, especially when Liverpool go to Ajax as well. It could be like a 4-3 or something. A lot of goals. So as of now, I have gone for Kvaratskhelia against Ajax at home. Napoli are looking really good. And if they win this game, they're basically through. So they will try to go for it because it's a home game against Ajax instead of waiting for the day they're going to go to Liverpool away. So it is an easier fixture for them. Another player you can consider is Anguissa as well. 5.7 million, 25 points so far. Very, very good option. Next up, I've gone for Bellingham. Playing against Sevilla and also another home fixture against Man City. He's captaining his team. He's looking quite good. He's getting himself into forward positions. And Sevilla next up. Sevilla, by then, they might have already sacked their manager, but I still think it's a good fixture at home to Sevilla. And they will also have a game against Copenhagen, so I don't think this is bad at all. And a team like Dortmund, I don't think they'll rest players because some teams will already have qualified top of the table by then. A team like which one? Maybe Bayern Munich. By the time you get to match day 5, they might already finished top of the table, and they might rest all their players in match day 6 or rest a few because it's a tough team they're playing in match day 6. But a team like Man City and Dortmund, if Man City doesn't win all of their games or they keep on winning all of them, they have a chance of Dortmund, especially if Dortmund beat Man City in the next match day. Going into match day 6, both of them will be fighting for top of the table probably. So all of them will start with their first teamers hoping to finish top of the table. So that's another thing to consider. Not all of these teams will rest players if they're trying to get top of the table. Teams like PSG, they might already completed the job by then. So you need to be careful with that. So Bellingham, very good option. Is already risen to 7.3. So you'll have to spare some money there for him or to use some money for him. And then next up, I've gone for PSG player. Now, PSG have 2 home fixtures as well. So I think you have to go for their players. Which one? Literally up to you. Mbappe, Messi, Neymar. I have gone for Neymar at 10 million. All of them will return. You can literally go for anyone. Like even in match day 4, I wouldn't be surprised if Mbappe scored, Messi scored, Neymar assisted both, for example. Like all of them will probably return. And any of them could be a good option. Mbappe is the safest option because he's highly owned. But if you go for someone like a Messi or Neymar who are differentials, then it could work out for you if Mbappe doesn't return in that game. And that is the reason why I have gone for their defender as well in Hakimi, because of those 2 home fixtures. But you don't have to go for him. That is why you can go for a Liverpool defender if you prefer instead of Hakimi. You can go for one PSG player if you prefer. But remember, they still will play Maccabi Haifa at home. So that is a very good fixture. And then next up, I've gone for Atletico Madrid defender, Ronaldo. I think is very good in terms of recovery points and all that. A couple of home fixtures as well. I don't think that's bad at all. 4.5 million is good for me. Again, you don't have to go for him. You can go for the Club Brugge defender if you prefer. If you think like Club Brugge will continue doing well in the group, you can go for them instead. So we have 13.5 million remaining in the bank with 2 players to get in. And another team that I really like at the moment, you can go for players like Okafor from Salzburg. In this team, you can go for a Liverpool midfielder if you prefer. You can go for a defender from Liverpool as well, literally up to you. You can even go for Tottenham attacker if you prefer. But as of now, I have gone for midfielder from Celtic, Jota. Again, not because he scored in the last match day. He's one of the first players I talked about in the budget options in the very first video of the season. And he didn't do well in the opening games, but he did score. And I think he has some really good fixtures between 9 match day 6. So Jota, and they have to try and win their games to try and at least get second or clinch a Europa League spot. So Jota at 6.5 million, he is an enabler, and that leaves us with 7 million in the bank. And I've gone for Jagla because he's very cheap. He's on penalties. Club Brugge are playing really, really well, so I don't think that is bad at all. And I've also gone for Jagla because I could have gone for 7 million striker like Sesko, but I've gone for Jagla because he's only 5.6. That leaves us with 1.4 million in the bank. I'll tell you what you can do with that. So let me go through the team once again. Goalkeepers, Larisse and Livakovic. A defense of Sergio Gomez, Cancelo, Upamecano, Hakimi and Ronaldo. A midfield of Sane, Musiala, Kvaratskhelia, Bellingham and Jota. And a front line of Haaland, Neymar and Jagla. That is what you have right now, but that is not what you have to get. So 1.4 million in the bank, there's a lot of things you can do. You can remove Neymar, and you can put Mbappe instead. You will have 0.2 million remaining, no problem at all. You can also remove Mbappe if you prefer, and have someone like Lewandowski if you prefer him in the team. You can do that. Let's return Neymar here. Where's Neymar? You can also remove someone like Musiala if you prefer. Let's remove Hakimi first. You can remove Hakimi and remove Musiala, and then you can also go for a Liverpool midfielder in Diaz or Salah, any of those. Where's Diaz? Where's Diaz? Where's Luis Diaz? Luis Diaz, where the hell are you, Luis Diaz? Chelsea is another team you can also decide to go for. Luis Diaz is 9 million. That will leave you with 5.4 million to spend in defense. You can spend it on any player, even Tsimikas if Robertson is not back if you prefer. You don't have to do that as well. You can go for a 4 million defender in Dedic of Salzburg, and that will create a lot of more opportunities in your team to get in the big boys up front. If we go with Dedic here, you'll have 10.4 million remaining to get a midfielder in. That's great money. Let's see if we can get a Bayern Munich midfielder here, if you still believe they're going to start. Midfielders from Bayern Munich. Sadio Mane is 10.5, so you'll be short by 0.1, but that 0.1, it wouldn't be that hard to get. I can just downgrade Livakovic to a 4.5 million goalkeeper like Joe Hart. Joe Hart is 4.5 million, and Celtic's fixtures are great. Even if you prefer to upgrade on the striker, if you don't want Jagla and you feel like his run of good goals and all that has died now, Kudus is still a good option in midfield. And then if you remove Jagla, you'll have 10.7 million remaining. If you want a PSG double up in terms of attack, you can also go for Lionel Messi up front. That money will fit you. So that is why I have gone for all those options, leaving at least 1.4 million in the bank. You'll have a lot to do with that money. You can change a few things. The defense, you can even change Upamecano to Alphonso Davies if you prefer. You can change Ronaldo to someone else if you prefer. Literally up to you. So let's go back to the original team that we had before, and that is why have I forgotten the team? Hakimi. Where is Hakimi? Hakimi in defense. Let's see, Hakimi at 6 million. Who else did I remove? Musiala of Bayern Munich. Let's go to Bayern Munich. Musiala. Musiala. So a lot you can do. The WILDCARD team doesn't have to necessarily be straightforward. There's a lot of changes you can make. In fact, Chelsea, you can go for Sterling, you can go for Reece James at the back, you can go for a Barcelona player, you can even go for an Inter Milan player, you can go for an AC Milan player. Any of those guys, literally up to you. Any of them could work. So let me know what you think of the WILDCARD team. So this is what I have right now in terms of the best WILDCARD team that will leave you with 1.4 million in the bank. Tottenham forwards if you prefer to, but you get the point. That is the WILDCARD team. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. As I said, I will have a fixture video later on, breaking down every team's fixtures, which teams we should be targeting, which teams we shouldn't be really going for. Some teams have some really, really hard fixtures. I'll give you one, for example, right now, like Inter Milan, they have to go away to Bayern and they have to go away to Barcelona. So I don't think that's easy for them. So if you go for players like Dumfries, who didn't even start in the last match day, I don't think that is a good idea at all. And yeah, a lot of teams to get into, a lot of teams to target. And all the strategies will depend on what you have. Some of you have the WILDCARD and the limitless remaining. That will make it a bit easier for you to maneuver through these 3 match days. Some of you already played both of them, so you need to be extra careful with the 2 transfers you make between now and the 2 transfers in matchday 5 and the 2 transfers in matchday 6. Some of you have only played your wildcard and still have your limitless and you're planning to play it right now. If you're planning to do that, I've already done a video for that you can watch right now by clicking on the video on the left side, and when the fixture video is out, I will put it on the right side. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you on the next one.